Thanks for staying with us. We're joined by Mike Scherer today, and we're in Atchison, Kansas at the AgriSolutions office. Mike, coming into the fall, wheat's kind of taking a beating like everything else. Corn and beans down. They're dragging wheat along with it, basically.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's going to affect crop insurance coverage on wheat for the 2016 crop year. It looks right now like our wheat base prices are about 17% lower than they were last year in Kansas. So that's going to be a 17% reduction essentially in your dollars of coverage, all other things being equal. So, you know, that might lead a producer to want to reevaluate maybe their coverage levels, or at least keep in mind that you're not going to have near as many dollars coverage as we were used to last year and certainly years before that. So that's something to consider.
Well, not only that, potentially a wetter fall. We could also get beans out late. And if we're double cropping into that field, we've got another issue there.
Exactly, yeah. Delayed planting is probably going to lead to delayed harvest overall. And like you said there, from what I've been hearing, we're looking at possibly a wetter fall as well. So that always creates some concerns in terms of getting that wheat crop in the ground. So I would just encourage producers to keep in mind that if they're unable to get as much wheat planted as they intended, and they have crop insurance coverage, that they could be eligible for preventive planting claims. So keep in touch with your agent, and if you were intending to plant a certain amount of wheat and don't get it in due to excess moisture, let them know, get a claim submitted, and if you qualify, could be looking at preventive planting claims. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully harvest goes smooth, wheat planting goes smooth, and we're not dealing with that. But it's something to keep in mind that often gets overlooked.
And the new yield exclusion option, it's kind of a fairly new program.
Absolutely, yeah. So yield exclusion is an option that was a part of the 2014 Farm Bill. It came out last year, was available on corn, grain, sorghum, and soybeans for last crop year, but it wasn't available on wheat. But it will be available on wheat for this 2016 crop year. So producers have up until September 30th to elect that option. What it does is it allows the insured to exclude from their yield history any crop year, any yield on a year in which the county yield for that year was lower than 50% of the previous 10-year county average, which is really confusing. But essentially each county has a list of years that are eligible for exclusion, okay? And so that varies a lot across the state of Kansas, anywhere from some counties that don't have any wheat years that were eligible to some that have up to 6 or 8 years that are eligible. So it's something that a producer really has to look at, see how it's going to affect their policy. But what it's going to do at the end of the day is increase your average yield and increase those guarantees. So there is a cost associated with it depending on how much it increases. And one thing I'll say is, you know, we hear different things throughout different areas from producers, from agents, from insurance companies about things like this. And it's not uncommon for us to hear that people aren't using this option because it's too expensive. That additional cost is too much. But I would encourage producers very much to look at it a little differently from that. Almost every scenario that we've looked at, it very much makes sense. Now, it may mean that it makes sense for you to lower your coverage level once you've added this option to increase those yields, and still end up getting either the same coverage for cheaper premium or more coverage for the same premium. So it really needs to be looked at a little deeper than just, oh, if I add it, it's going to cost me an extra $5 an acre.
So this year we want to spend a little extra time with our crop insurance.
I would say definitely yes, to evaluate this new option as well as, you know, different things that have changed in the marketplace, yes. Well,
we want to remind everybody, ag-risk-solutions.com is where you can get all the information about the guys at AgriSolutions. Watching kansasAGreport, please stay tuned.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life. Farmers Insurance, your best protection against the unexpected. Call Agent Dan Key at 785-408-5459. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. GrassandGrain.com. Blue River Traders, the finest selection of Western-style furniture for your home. BlueRiverTraders.com.
Today we're joined by Mike Scherer, and we're in Atchison, Kansas at AgriSolutions. And Mike, it's good to catch up with you. We get to see you about once a quarter, so
yeah, good to be here, Brian.
It's always nice to come up to Atchison and catch up with you. Winter had some hope as far as, you know, having a little bit of moisture to plant into. Spring got a lot of moisture.
Yes.
But now we look at the markets, and the markets are down, way down. I mean, we're talking maybe below production cost.
Exactly, yeah, pretty wild year, certainly around here. So, you know, like I said, excessive wet spring, dealt with preventive planting issues that we just almost never deal with around here, certainly in the spring at least. So we ended up having some customers that didn't get primarily all their soybeans planted, ranged anywhere from people got everything planted to some that got almost nothing planted. So had to deal with that, something kind of unusual this year, but we're kind of finishing up getting all those preventive planting claims paid up for the most part, and yeah, now kind of looking towards harvest, which I would say, given the way crops looked a few months ago, harvest looks pretty optimistic. So compared to how bad things were earlier. So, but yeah, like you said, with all that in mind, we've certainly driven prices lower. So on the crop insurance side, of course, we start to think about issues like revenue claims. So as of right now, corn and soybean and grain sorghum prices are all just about 10% lower than the base prices that we set back in the spring. So what that does essentially for producers carrying revenue protection is increases those yield guarantees about 10% as well.